Welcome to Between Two Plants or Kickstart Your Week. We're back with the week number 2, wrapping up September here, which is exciting. And today we're going to talk about repurposing content, especially video content. We have Joshua here, our videographer, podcast producer.
Hello.
So we're just going to talk about how to get the most kind of bang for your buck, whether you're doing a podcast or brand video, social content, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm going to let you mostly do the talking on this one. But you want to start with maybe like a brand video, just thinking through as for a small business owner, what it looks like to, do a brand video, but then also let's get a little bit more life out of it and get some social content or newsletter content, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, especially with brand videos, they are typically, unless you're shooting it yourself, you're hiring someone on to do it. Yep. And so you really want to be strategic with your content. And so most people will look at that and be like, okay, here's my content. Here's what I want to get across in this video. Mm-hmm. And they'll focus on that. And that's great. But a next step further for that would be kind of think about how I can segment this content into smaller clips. And I think a great way to do that is kind of take your overarching thought and then just make sure that smaller segments are easily pulled from that. And so with that, you can kind of work on when you are writing your notes for the video or coming up with interview questions, having some maybe smaller interview questions can be a great way to do that. So instead of having some 3-part interview question, you can have hey, how did you get started? And then that can be a great way to pull an easily quotable piece.
Yeah, for sure. I think getting that content that the business owner or the team members are actually speaking is super important. And then just tactically speaking, when we're planning a video, if we know hey, the main purpose is a brand video, it's going to live on their website, but right. They need some social content. So if we know that up front, then it's easier for you to, especially with YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, to frame the shot to where it looks appropriate.
This is very
cropping
true.
it for that too. So it's not one of those things you want to, you can after the fact make it work, but if you know that ahead of time, or those, social content, things like that as a priority, definitely have those conversations ahead of time.
That's a great point. Yeah. Framing is everything with video stuff. And there's been times when we've had clients that, okay, I want this longer form piece of content, but they didn't have and it's okay. It's a newer form of media, but they didn't have the perspective hey, I need to pull some shorter stuff. So a lot of the shots were tighter, which is just hard. If you take a wide shot, but it's a close wide shot, and then
you can zoom it on yourself, just as an example of what that might look like. Exactly.
You'll just the frame will be all face, and nobody wants that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see all face. So that's a great point with the framing for sure.
So again, thinking through getting the most life out of your content as possible, especially if you are, paying for people to come in and film and do all that for you.
For us.
Yes, paying. That's what I meant. But also, as a business owner, you don't, and I feel this, probably feels like pulling teeth getting us to sit down and every now and again and record this content. You don't have time to just do videos all day, every day. So planning those shoots out and just knowing hey, the next 3 months, this is what we need. Let's get it recorded and done. And that might mean you take care of the brand video, get that done, but then we have the footage. And so, sorry, Mike. We have the footage so we can always edit those down the road. So there's options, just trying to think through, bigger picture when you're getting content created.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of this, maybe a little bit more practically speaking, is people who are doing podcast or some sort of longer form video content. You've got to think, I think long form content is here to stay. It's been,
Yeah.
It's a thing.
We're here. It's never, I don't think it'll ever leave.
Never. Yeah. Never say never, but it's not in the foreseeable future.
I'm saying never.
But I think part of it too is you still have to get people to said podcast or content. And you do have to, a lot of times, advertise it and build awareness, whether that's on organic social media or your email. So thinking through what that looks like as you're, planning out your video podcast episodes, and again, pulling some shorter clips for social that you can share and then,
Yes.
drive people to your podcast. So you obviously work with all of our podcasting clients. So what does that look like in terms of just structuring and planning out the episodes and then getting those clips?
Yeah, good question. Honestly, I think kind of a slight side note with that, it's like when you have this long form content, most of the time you get one use out of it and then you're it's kind of spent. But with being able to pull short-term content out of the long form, it just extends the life of your videos so much longer. And specifically with podcasts, it's, podcasts are typically, sometimes it's just somebody talking directly to the camera, but more often than not, it's a group of people talking.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can pull countless clips that can be used in a lot of ways, like bringing awareness to a subject, bringing awareness to your product, bringing awareness to your company or platform. And so it's a great way to kind of pull that, and it kind of happens pretty naturally. It's almost like an organic way, because instead of focusing on this large topic that you have for the long form, you can just kind of get micro segments that are easily kind of malleable, and you're able to make them work for you. So I think it's a great way to kind of make that happen.
Yeah, and I think what's been cool, which is the clips that you've pulled for some of our clients from their podcast, is yes, it's a complete thought, but not necessarily in those little social clips, which is totally fine, because the goal at the end of the day is to tease out the episode, or if the episode's already live, to get them to click to listen to the full thing. So whereas maybe with brand videos and those clips, we do need a complete thought,
story.
15 to 30 second segment, statement, whatever. With the podcast, it can be a little bit more
a little bit. Not, is it bait and switch, or is it more just hey, that's probably a bad verbiage. I guess I should say it's just a great way to.
No, you're not switching. Well, no, you're baiting and hooking them. You're not switching them. You're still going to get your podcast episode.
Bait and hook. It's just a good way to draw people's attention and hook people to what could be something that they could find interesting in the podcast. Yeah. So it's a great way to kind of organically advertise for the long form content and bring people to that.
For sure.
So,
so I think, we are, moving into the end of the year. So it might not be, on your Christmas list to start a podcast, this time of year. If it is, let us know. We can make it happen. But as you're thinking to the new year and some different things you might want to do for your business content wise, I think we've seen for clients, podcasting be a great way to do that because you do get that long form content, but you're also building out your social media calendar with a lot less effort than not.
Yeah. And that's so much more organic material they can work with. And I think I said it before, but it's so malleable. You can use it in multiple ways to pull people's interest or what have you. So I agree. I think that's a great point.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us on this quick episode of Kickstart Your Week. Again, if you are interested in more video content, whether it be brand videos, ad scripted sort of videos, which are always fun, or podcasting, let us know. We can get you on the schedule and figure out what's going to work best for you.
That's right.
All right. Thanks.